everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Power Rankings. It's me, your Commissioner Nick. It's week 9 on the schedule already. Can you believe it? We've got a great slate of games coming at you this week. I'm going to give you my predictions for them. Arambe's Corner is back on the show. But first, let's get into those rankings. It's the Ocho. Let's go. Number 12. King of the Hill V2. Luke's team lost his 5th straight game this week, so he stays in the basement. Rob Gronkowski put up a big goose egg in the tight end position. This team is a joke compared to old Mr. 500 teams. When will this team figure it out? Number 11. Quantum Cheeseburger.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Okay.
Yeah?
Are you?
Absolutely.
Jerry's team lost this week to no one's surprise. Jalen Waddle, baby, Waddle, baby, Waddle, baby, Waddle. Back to this team up 2 spots in the rankings. He's now lost 3 out of his last 4, and Quantum Cheeseburger just may not have enough mayo. Jerry did announce the team parted ways with their offensive coordinator, so we'll see how that works out. Number 10. Team Never Lucky. The reigning, defending, undisputed, 2-time back-to-back champion of Bad Company, Dan won again this week. I almost said lost again, but he won again as he held Frank's team to under 80 points in the process. Back on September 7th, Jerry predicted this team would be irrelevant by week 10, and all things seemed pointed that way until Dan pulled off back-to-back upsets over 2 top teams. He's still only 2-6 on the year, and Calvin Ridley doesn't even want to play for this team. Number 9. Borat High Five. Wow, wow, wee, wah. Hunter's team lost again this week, falling to 3-5 on the year. New defensive coordinator Pamela Anderson failed to rally the troops as the Chargers defense only put up 2 points for the team. Max Kellerman must be doing the playoff chances this week because ESPN still gives this team an 85% chance to make the playoffs, and I just don't see it. Number 8. I am 4-4. You are 3-5 after losing to Brophy's team by the narrowest of margins. Michael Pittman Jr. did all he could by scoring 30 points, but it wasn't enough as Taylor Lonicki threw it away. Things won't get any easier this week as Quantum Cheeseburger is looming on the schedule. Brad, you might be in trouble. Number 7. Beans Pride Parade. Beans won this week, defeating little brother Oliver and improving to 4-4 on the year. Beans got off to a hot start, but quickly fizzled down the rankings. I think at this point in the season, we're all kind of forgetting about Beans, who still has Tom Brady, the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football, Christian McCaffrey, and DeAndre Hopkins. Don't rule this team out yet. Number 6. Poppy's Prize Possession. Brophy's team won this week, but he may have lost the war, as number 1 running back in the league, Derrick Henry, could be done for the year. This is a tough blow to the team, but Joe Mixon, Matt Stafford, DJ Moore, Adam Thielen, and Marquise Brown are all pretty solid options. Therefore, no movement in the rankings this week for Poppy. Number 5. When Legends Rise. Frank's team got absolutely clobbered this week by Dan, only managing to score 78 points. This one game alone dropped Frank 4 spots in points per game. DeAndre Swift and Leonard Fournette both had a rare bad game, and Emmanuel Blanders failed to contribute any fantasy points at all this week. These kinds of games can happen sometimes, so only dropping to the 5 spot in the ranking seems fair. Number 4. Mid-season Harambe. Oliver's team fell short against his younger, yet bigger brother Beans this week. That's 2 losses in a row now for Harambe, and maybe this team just isn't as solid as we once thought. Patrick Mahomes continues to struggle, Lames Robinson is banged up, and Cortland Sutton now has to compete with Jerry Jeudy for targets. Playoff chances are decreasing as we speak. Number 3. Absolutely that guy, pal. Oh, absolutely my team won again this week, improving to 5-3 on the year. Not saying much as I practically had a bye this week against Jerry, but a win's a win. I don't think my team is as strong as others in the league, but we're feisty, and so far the Jalen Hurts and Chris Godwin acquisition has paid off. Let's see if we can keep it rolling this week. Number 2. The Process. Ryan's team bounced back to win this week against Luke. Surprisingly, it was Ryan's running backs who led the way this time, as Aaron Jones and Darrell Henderson combined for nearly 50 points. Ryan now has the highest playoff chances in the league, and I think that's deserved. But I still think this team is slightly overrated. Number 1. Maybe next year. Lance's team picked up his 4th straight win this week, defeating his firstborn son, Hunter. His star wide receiver looks to be completely over the food poisoning as A.J. Brown with the sickness went off for 31 points. During his 4-game winning streak, Lance is averaging 136 points per game, good for 2nd in the league over that span. He's climbed 10 spots in the rankings over the last 3 weeks when his playoff chances were all the way down at just 13%. Maybe this is the year. And now let's turn it over to Oliver at Arambe's Corner. Take it away, Oliver.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another rendition of Harambe's Corner. I am mid-season Harambe General Manager Oliver, and let's get right into it. I thought I would erect a little Jack Eichel shrine because of the special occasion. Last week, if you'll remember, I did wear a Vegas shirt, so maybe I helped move the trade along a little bit. So I thought I'd wear my Vegas hat, but let's get right into it. A lot of upsets this week, a lot of low point totals around the league. Beans took me down, my 2nd loss in a row. Helped in part for Beans' sake, James Robinson's heel injury, although it looks like he's going to be okay, shouldn't miss too much time. That one hurt, not a great look for my team, especially when a lot of teams are rising up the standings. Then we have Lance over Hunter, over Borat, Lance's receivers showed up. Hunter's running back showed up too, but Lance's receivers put together over 50 points, and that's what essentially lifted him to the victory. We have Nick over Jerry. Jerry, you got to score over 100 if you want to win in this league. It's another loss for Jerry, but we all saw that one coming. And we have Ryan over Luke. Both teams, again, a lot of duds in the starting lineups this week. Those buys really do hurt, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of them. Then we have Poppy over Brad, and of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention the Derrick Henry injury. That one's going to hurt a lot. He was the best running back in fantasy, best running back in football, and it looks like he's going to be out for the year. So hopefully, Poppy can find a replacement for Derrick Henry. Then lastly, we have Dan, Team Never Lucky, beating Frank. Dan has knocked down the top 2 teams in the league from 12th in the standings back-to-back weeks. That is unbelievable. He lost his first 6, and then he knocked off the top 2 in the league. And this was one of Frank's worst games. He didn't even get to 80 points, which is just tough. You got to put up over 100 if you want a chance to win every week. And this week's Lock of the Week presented by the Lonely Heart Sports Podcast. Again, Jerry, no free ads. So I would like some Fortnite V-Bucks if you got any. No free ads. Official podcast of that company. Lock of the Week is going to be Borat over Poppy. Hunter, even though he had his running backs last week, he still has the big 3, and I really like his chances to win over Poppy, especially with Derrick Henry out of the lineup. That has been Harambe's Corner, and I will see you guys again next week.
All right, let's close the show with some Week 9 predictions. Here are our matchups this week. We've got Team Never Lucky taking on King of the Hill V2. 2 of the bottom teams in the league. I'm going to take Dan's team. They're rolling pretty good right now on 2-game winning streak. I think it continues against Luke's team. And in a game that reeks of mediocrity, we've got Quantum Cheeseburger taking on I Am 4-4. That's Brad versus Jerry. And you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Quantum Cheeseburger to defeat Brad. Brad, you're in trouble, let me tell you. And then in our next game, we got Beans Pride Parade taking on One Legends Rise. I'm going to take Beans Pride Parade in this one. My dad's team's got a tough week with bye weeks and injuries again. So I'm going to take Beans to win that one. Poppy's Prize Possession versus Borat High Five. I'm going to take Hunter's team to pick up the win. Brophy, without Derrick Henry this week, I think Hunter's team can bounce back and finally get a win. And their next game, we got the number 1 team maybe next year taking on mid-season Harambe. Definitely a game of the week potential candidate, but we're going to save that for next. In this matchup, I'm going to take Lance's team. He's the number 1 team for a reason. He's riding high right now. I think A.J. Brown continues to roll, and we're going to move into our next slate of games. It's the game of the week. It's absolutely that guy, pal, taking on The Process, Nick versus Ryan, in one of the longest rivalries in the league. They've faced off 9 times in the past. Ryan owns the head-to-head matchup, going 5-4 all time, and I think he's gonna improve on that. I think he's gonna win this week. His wide receivers are second to none in the league by clearly, and his running backs took over last week. And at this point, I'm just rambling. But these two 5-3 teams, I'm going to take the process to win. And that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.